They told him he was done. His label of 18 years dropped him. A false drug accusation had been on every headline in Korea for 2 months straight. And yet, exactly 18 months after the most public humiliation of his life, G-Dragon walked on stage in front of 825,000 people on the largest solo Korean concert tour in history. This is the story of how Kwon Ji-yong went from a trainee at age 8 to the undisputed king of K-pop, and what it actually cost to get there. If you know G-Dragon, you know the version the internet serves you, leader of BigBang. Crayon. Fantastic Baby. The guy with the hair. The Chanel deal. The first Korean act to put a Korean language album on the Billboard 200. The Peace Minnesota brand that resells for triple retail before the box is even opened. But what most people don't know is how close he came to losing all of it. Not once, but in 2 completely separate moments. And what almost nobody talks about is where this actually started, in a recording studio, performing for live audiences at age 6, before he had a label, before he had a stage name, before anyone outside of a small neighborhood in Seoul had ever heard of Kwon Ji-yong. Kwon Ji-yong was born on August 18, 1988 in Seoul, South Korea. His mother recognized something unusual in him early. He didn't just listen to music, he studied it, wanted to take it apart and reassemble it. At age 6, he was performing as a member of a children's musical group called Little Ruri, not in the chorus, as a featured performer. By the time he was 8, SM Entertainment had scouted him. SM Entertainment, the label that would later build EXO, Trainee, SNSD, and aespa, decided this kid was worth investing in before he had finished primary school. He trained there for 5 years. 5 years of vocal coaching, dance rehearsals, and discipline, all before most children have started secondary school. But at age 12, something shifted. He heard a hip-hop duo called Jinasian on a different label, YG Entertainment. The sound hit different. The culture hit different. He left SM, crossed the aisle, and joined YG. That is not a small decision at 12. He was walking away from the most commercially proven training pipeline in Korean music to chase something harder, rawer, less guaranteed. And it got harder. YG put him through another 6 years of training, 11 years total, from age 6 to 17, before he ever stood on a professional stage. When BigBang officially debuted in August 2006, Ji-yong had spent more time preparing for that moment than most artists spend on entire careers. Here is the detail that gets buried in every biography. In 2001, at age 13, Kwon Ji-yong appeared on a compilation album called Korean Hip Hop Flex, making him the youngest professional Korean rapper in history at the time. That credit existed. No one brought it up when BigBang went global. It was already there. Let's talk about October 25th, 2023. That was the day Korean police confirmed they were investigating G-Dragon on suspicion of violating the Narcotics Control Act. The accusation came from a single source, the manager of an entertainment venue who claimed he had used drugs at her establishment. No physical evidence, no corroborating witnesses. One statement. What followed was methodical destruction. BigBang had already been diminished. T.O.P. and Seungri had both exited under separate controversies years earlier. G-Dragon was the last man standing, the last face of the legacy, and now the Korean media was running the story hourly. On November 6, 2023, G-Dragon voluntarily walked into the Incheon Metropolitan Police Station for questioning. He didn't go quiet. He didn't issue a statement through a lawyer and disappear. He walked in himself, submitted to a comprehensive drug test, and waited. On December 19, 2023, the Incheon Metropolitan Police announced the result. No charges. All drug tests returned negative. All 6 witnesses questioned could not corroborate the original accusation. The case was closed entirely. 6 days later, 6 days, YG Entertainment announced they were parting ways. 18 years. The label that had taken him at 12 built BigBang around him and released every album he had ever made. They were quiet during the investigation, And the moment he was cleared, they announced the split. He did not comment publicly for months. Then in a 2025 interview, he said simply, "I was confident." The misunderstanding was resolved. That restraint, that steadiness, that is a man who has been building something for a very long time and knows exactly what it is. Here is what 825,000 people actually bought tickets for, and why. G-Dragon does not just make music, he builds worlds. From the earliest BigBang years, he was always the one writing, producing, shaping, not just the sound, but the visual identity, the fashion language, and the cultural narrative around what K-pop was allowed to be. He launched Peace Minnesota in 2016, a fashion and art brand that now sells out globally and collaborates with Nike at the level where resale prices triple within hours of release. He became a Chanel global ambassador before any other Asian artist had been offered that role. Now look at the data. The single Power, released October 31st, 2024, his first song in 7 years, crashed the Melon servers within minutes. The album Übermensch, released February 25th, 2025, sold 639,176 copies on its first day. His previous first-week record, set in 2017, was 46,397 copies. He didn't beat it, he multiplied it by 13. The album debuted at number 1, simultaneously in South Korea, Japan, and China. He became the first K-pop male artist in 2025 to exceed 200 million digital points on South Korea's Circle chart. The Übermensch World Tour, 39 shows, 825,000 fans, became the largest tour ever conducted by a Korean solo act. In August 2025, he entered the Billboard Box Score Top Tours list. He sold out Tokyo Dome, again making him the first Korean solo act to repeatedly sell out that venue. If you want to dress like someone who understands that music and fashion speak the same language, Revolve has the kind of elevated streetwear that matches what the G-Dragon aesthetic actually sounds like. Link is in the description. But here is what makes people obsessive about G-Dragon specifically. Beyond the numbers and the clothes, he never explains himself. He makes things. He releases them. He walks into a police station in the middle of a national media firestorm, tests clean, leaves his label of 18 years, signs with Empire Records in the United States, and then drops the biggest Korean solo tour in history. All without a single revenge speech. No manifesto, no press conference about what he went through. Just the work, and the work speaks at a volume that makes everything else irrelevant. Here is the debate I want you to settle in the comments, because I have watched this argument get intense very fast. G-Dragon's comeback is objectively undeniable. The tour record, the album numbers, the fashion legacy, the independence. But there are two camps. Camp 1 says, without BigBang, there is no G-Dragon. BigBang is the foundation, the context, the emotional core. The group is where he built his audience and his mythology. Without the 5 of them in that specific combination at that specific moment in K-pop history, he doesn't become who he is. Camp 2 says, G-Dragon built BigBang, not the other way around. The songwriting, the producing, the brand identity, the cultural positioning, those were always his. The solo era doesn't just prove it, it removes any remaining doubt. Which side are you on? BigBang made G-Dragon, or G-Dragon made BigBang? Drop it in the comments. I want to see where this lands. If you made it this far, subscribe. We drop stories like this every week. Follow at Stardom on Instagram and TikTok. See you in the next one.